And I realized that I'm not really saying no to them, though. I'm just saying yes to myself. And at that time, that's what was more important to me. That's what I needed.
Welcome back to the Holistic Hormones Podcast with me, Dr. Ami Patel, pharmacist and hormone consultant. I've transformed my pain, struggle, and journey with managing my PCOS into my passion to support women to gain freedom from their hormone imbalance symptoms. On this podcast, I share practical tips that have worked for me and my clients, as well as conversations from experts in their field.
How do you feel from this past weekend? Are you super exhausted, or did you fill up your own cup and become energized? Did you overcommit to social engagements, or did you make time for yourself, whether it was alone or with loved ones that you wanted to spend time with? This episode, as you could tell by the title, is about learning how to say yes to yourself and prioritize your own physical and mental well-being, which is perfect for this month of Mental Health Awareness Month of May. So this past weekend, at the time of this recording, this past weekend, I said no to 3 social engagements, which allowed me to say yes to my own health and my own well-being and just what I needed for myself. And I thought that this would be a great episode to talk to you about because I feel like from my clients, I see that saying overcommitting and saying yes to others is something that we as women, especially South Asian women, tend to do really well, but saying yes to ourselves is something we struggle with. And I was reflecting on this myself, and I decided, or I thought to myself that, it's not that I was saying no to that person, that event specifically, but I really just needed to say yes to myself. The weekend before, I was in Chicago. This coming weekend, I'm going to New York, and I really just needed a slow weekend. And at first, like, it wasn't easy for me to say no. It wasn't. And I thought to myself, like, why was I struggling to say no? And I realized that it's because I thought that, if I said no to these things, those people would get offended, they would get upset, I would not be left with any friends, I would hurt their feelings, and that I wouldn't get invited to things if I keep saying no, which that's not true because it's not that I always say no, but I just needed to say no that time. And I realized that I'm not really saying no to them, though. I'm just saying yes to myself. And at that time, that's what was more important to me. That's what I needed. And another thing is that I ask myself, does doing this activity or committing to this something that aligns with my priorities right now and my goals that I have? And if it does, then yes, I'm going to commit to that. But if it doesn't, then do I really, really want to do that? What am I going to basically gain from spending my time and energy there? And this is just a way for me to be more conscious of the decisions I make, because previously I would overcommit to things and I would wear myself out. I would become drained. I would start Mondays with being tired and looking forward to the next time I'm off, but can't live like that every week. And the other thing that helped me with doing that is to not overcommit, is to not say yes to things right away. Like I used to do that. I would say yes if something was like months in advance. I'd be like, yes, yes, yes. And then all the yeses added up. And what I thought was like an open weekend or free weekend turns out to become jam-packed. And for me, like if I say yes to something and if I commit, then I'm going to do it. I'm not going to be flaky. I'm not going to just not show up. I'm not going to cancel last minute. That's just not who I am. And so instead of overcommitting and saying yes in advance, I tell people now that, hey, let me think about it and let me get back to you. And for me, that has allowed me to make conscious decisions of what I need at that time because things change. other things may come up. And it's once again not against anything to anyone personally, but it's just about realizing what I need for myself. And yeah, so I think that is everything I wanted to say. It's a short and quick episode, but it's definitely perspective that I want you to think about. Think about your coming up weekend. Is there time for yourself on there? Are you looking forward to everything that you have? Is there anything you can change if you feel like you need some time for yourself? And if you liked my tips here, the perspective shift I gave, that you're not saying no to anyone else, you're just saying yes to yourself. And if you like the tips I shared, the mindset shift, this is just a glimpse of what I share inside my method of managing your health. So my method, the Heal Your Hormone Imbalance and Live Limitlessly method, is the acronym HEAL comes down to my approach of holistic management of your health. That's the H, holistic. So we optimize your sleep, your reduce stress, optimize nutrition, optimize your exercise and mindset. And then E stands for empower. So by taking control of your health, you are able to take control of all the other areas of your life. Aligned means living in alignment with your body and your hormones, feeling like you're working with your body, not against it, and aligning with your beliefs of what you want to eat. I don't like it when people say you can't eat your cultural foods if you want to be healthy, and that is not my belief. So aligning with your culture, your favorite foods, because without that, you're not going to be happy long term. And then L stands for liberation. You get to become free of your hormone imbalance symptoms long term by addressing the root causes or the things that contribute to the condition. Then addressing that gives you relief long term, learning the basics and foundations of how to manage your hormones and live aligned with your body. And ultimately, that allows you to live limitlessly. So if you are interested and you want to learn more, and just if you have questions, if you still want to know if it's the right fit for you, then set up a free 30-minute consultation. I'm looking to fill the last 2 seats by the end of May. And after that, I am going to increase my prices. So if you've been thinking about it for a while, then this is your chance to join before the seats run out and the prices increase. So as a practical takeaway, I want to start adding that into my episode. So as a practical takeaway, ask yourself and become aware of why you continuously say yes to others and why you're not saying yes to yourself first. And actually, another thing I wanted to mention is this constant need of saying yes to others. Like for me, I realized I kept thinking that, I'm going to hurt the other person's feelings. And I wanted to be liked. So it was coming from a place of people pleasing and not really from a place of so I was doing that more from a people pleasing place and a place of fear of not having friends. The fear of not having friends, that's not true. Those people will still be my friends, but it was coming from those places, and that's not the right place to take those actions. And then asking myself, with the goals, so right now, a few of the things that are my priority is my physical health and my mental health. And another thing is managing and growing my business. And then the other thing is starting to date again and seeing that, hey, going to these things, does it fall in alignment with any of those things? And the answers were no, it didn't. Going to those things didn't do that, but saying yes to myself allowed me to prioritize my physical and mental health that weekend, which is what I needed at the time. So ask yourself those questions, why are you constantly saying yes to others? What is your reasoning, and how can you start saying yes to yourself? Start from a small place. If there's anything this coming up weekend that you can maybe change or slot in time for yourself so that there's not another commitment that comes in, or keep this in mind for future weekends before you commit to saying yes to something. Ask yourself those questions okay, am I afraid to say no, or do I genuinely want to be there? Does it align with my goals and priorities? And one more thing I realize now that I am making this conscious effort of saying yes to things that I am able to give my time and energy and be fully present at that time. So by making this shift, I realized that when I am committed to those things, I am actually like physically and emotionally present. It's a better experience for me, and I'm giving the best version of myself to people at that time. I'm not coming from a place of like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted, or I don't want to be here, I just want to leave, or just feeling like really drained when I'm there. Because like that's not a fun person to be around. And so yeah, it's like the things I commit to now, it's like I am giving my 110%, which I used to do, and then I left myself drained, but I wasn't coming from my best self at that time. But now I am able to come from my best self. And so think about this as a way to shift from not thinking about anyone else, but thinking more about your needs, not in a selfish way, but in a way where you are able to be your best self, so that when you are giving to others, you're giving the best version, because everyone deserves that. Everyone deserves to have the best version of you, especially yourself. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, you can always DM me or email me. And I would love to chat with you on the free 30-minute consultation and talk to you about my consulting services. As I mentioned, I am looking to fill the last 2 seats for my group program, and then I will be increasing the prices after the end of this month. So let me know if you have questions, and until next time, be kind to yourself, be patient, and focus on progress, not perfection. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode or learned something new, please share it with someone who can also benefit from it. I'd love to connect with you. Send me a DM on Instagram at holistic.hormones.pharmacist.